I wanted to talk about Arc Raiders. I have no idea why it's so popular. I am genuinely curious to know if the audience is people who have already played extraction shooters, or if it's ex Tarkov players, or if they managed to strike the normie vein for extraction shooters, which each option there has drastic implications for the game industry. And I hate that it's has to be that way. What do I mean by that? Well, you're gonna see the devs at like Call of Duty or Apex Legends, EA. They're going to see the success that Arc Raiders has, and they're gonna think, well, now we got to start shitting out extraction shooter game modes into every game, and it's gonna be a massive overinflation of game modes that people don't want. They want different games or different experiences. Similar, it's gonna be the same thing that the battle royale genre was. Everyone was shitting out a battle royale, and most of them were terrible or just really bad. Battlefield just shot one out, which was pretty bad. Clint Stevens' clip about striking the normie vein.
I would say normies are the thing you want most on Twitch. You need to get those normies because eventually the dedicated people are going to get jobs, they're going to get families, they're going to get people that love them, and then they're not going to watch you anymore. So everybody goes around from game to game, striking the ground, trying to find the vein, the oil vein of the normies, okay? So they just walk around, and then eventually, a game like Fortnite comes out, and oh my god, they just burst out of the fucking ground like a fucking fire hose, and giant stream of normies just flies into the sky. Oh my god, we struck the normies, dude. And then everybody flocks to Oregon, rides across in a fucking wheelbarrow across the entire country to get to the oil vein of the normies. You gotta farm those normies. Instead, I'm sitting here with my dick out playing fucking Christopher Robin, Winnie the Pooh baseball. You think I'm farming normies doing this shit? No.
It rings out in my mind because it really does feel like everyone's trying out these new ideas just to find a massive audience that eventually everyone else tries to copy. I wanted to look at the data behind player counts, at least with the last few months or years of games that were surprise hits, I would say. Arc Raiders had a player count peak of 300,000 players, about, which may or may not be going up or down over time, we'll see. That one's an extraction shooter. That one's probably a bit more hardcore because you lose your stuff when you die, which I feel will cause the player base to drop off sooner over time. I mean, I don't know if they're doing seasons or game resets or not, but I think it's interesting to think about, and I'm interested to see data behind Tarkov's player base over the resets, which that's also coming to Steam, I think, this month as well. So I'm very curious to see what the data or player count will be for that. Duckov, this game is a top-down extraction shooter, and I don't think this one is very popular in the West. I think looking at the player count over time, it looks like the peaks are during Chinese times or Eastern time zones, which that's fine and all. Maybe this will spawn off a new genre, similar to how Vampire Survivors spawned off a new genre, which I think could be kind of cool. I might actually be more interested in this Duckov version. Another interesting thing to note there is the specific different markets have different interests. Something similar happened with Marvel Rivals that came out. That's only really popular here in the West. No one in the East, like China, Korea, Japan, really, it's like a dead game on that side of the planet. It's kind of wild. Which that one's a hero shooter that's copying Overwatch. I believe it had a pretty high player count. Rivals had a all-time peak of 600,000 players, which is extremely good for what people thought was a dead and oversaturated market. I suppose Overwatch has shit the bed one too many times that something can come out of the woods and turn out being pretty good. Another one that came out was Schedule 1. That one, I think, was Normie Slop, FOMO. No one's talking about it anymore. That had almost 500,000 people playing at an all-time peak, which I am a bigger fan of why this one popped off, particularly because it's a unique experience. It's more casual. It's not forced multiplayer. It's kind of more of a make your own fun type game, and it's unique in the modern day, and that's why I think it was successful. Is there's not really many options for games like that these days. Repo, that one came out. It's I would say a clone of Lethal Company. That had a 300,000 all-time peak player base, which that one is co-op, make your own fun, try to survive a horror area or building as you extract resources for meeting your goal. That one's casual as well. You are trying to make a long run of progressively harder money goals you're trying to hit, but it's the style of the game's not really serious, and you're not really missing out on long runs. There's just progressively getting harder runs. Speaking of Lethal Company, that one came out in the last 2 years with an all-time peak of 240,000 players, which that one is going into buildings, grabbing scrap, exiting, trying to escape monsters as they chase you, try to kill you. That one was very unique as well. I haven't seen anything really like that at the time. Now people are trying to put these out every other week, which I think is kind of cool. I'm a big fan of that pop stuff. It's just lame that we needed to wait for one game to pop off for all these genre defining games or whatnot just start popping out. Like, why do I have to wait for something to be made that pops off? Like, Astrobot popped off, so maybe that's why baby games are coming out again. God bless you, Astrobot. Maybe that'll come back to come to PC someday. Palworld, that one came out. That one's a Ark clone, which most people wouldn't really catch on to that if they've never played Ark. Myself included, it was all new to me. I understand now that it's structured like that, but that had 2 million all-time peak. That's purely because they took the whole Pokemon idea and honed in on that to make it more appetizing, and like it really is just a really cool idea. And it's also got Nintendo off their ass to try and make their own clone of Palworld. That game, Palworld, is now getting like 20,000 players, 40,000 player 24-hour peaks, which is still fine. I think that would have been extremely good for a peak for its original release. Yeah, so I'm more excited to see, I guess, Ark clones with unique spins on them, such as a focus on capturing monsters and building a team with that, or I think Conan had you recruiting slaves to manage your base building stuff, which is cool. Never played that one. Helldivers 2, that one came out. Unfortunately, the devs really want to kill it. But what this did well back when it released was it's just a co-op horde shooter. And I honestly think that's why it did so well. I suppose the whole Stormtroopers theme going on with patriotic fighting for your nation type stuff is kind of cool. People like to see that, and I guess like to LARP. Um, Honestly, I think this game just came out at the right place, right time. I'm, I would say it's spinning off other more games in the genre, such as the Warhammer 40k, which is essentially a sequel to World War Z, or it's the same game but different. A Biotic Factor came out, and that one surprisingly does not have that high of a player peak. Despite, I would say this is a unique experience. In other words, I think this game flew under the radar of most people, and I would recommend it. And another game that came out of nowhere that I thought would perform extremely well was Balatro, but according to Steam charts, the all-time peak of 43,000 players disagrees with my statement there, which is interesting to note that there are games out there that I would feel they are super successful just from the how tight the mechanics are or how well the gameplay loop is, but what I feel could not match reality, I suppose. It's a real reality check. Anyways, why does it anger me so much that the Arc Raiders and extraction shooter genre is so popular? I feels like someone stole my bike, and now I know the game industry is going to be shitting up these extraction shooters for the next 5 years, and I'm gonna be seeing a lot of disappointments and stuff I'm just genuinely not interested in. Much like the battle royale industry or game format that I was interested in, but I knew or could tell they were going to be bad because they were forced out. So, I am unlike the guy who got his bike stolen. I am very upset that someone stole my bike, and I'd like my bike back. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Either subscribe, donate, hit the like button, hit the comment button, or get the fuck out.